Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new Cardfight Vanguard video for you guys today. Today we are covering our third Buddyfight crossover deck, the Magic World deck, also known as the Asmodai deck. This one was weird. This one took me a little bit to figure out. It had a little bit of a contradictory playstyle, a little bit weird, but once we break it down, you guys will understand how the deck works. We're gonna go through majority of the cards. I'm gonna be talking really fast because we have a lot of cards for the deck. Some of the cards that got announced haven't been put into Vanguard Pro yet. I'll be putting them on screen as we talk about them, but we're gonna go super fast, so bear with me. If you guys don't want to hear the explanation, just skip ahead, because then I'll jump into the deck and why I threw it together the way I did, and then of course we'll jump into some gameplay. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to be covering the rest of the Buddyfight decks. The 100 Demons just got revealed, and I actually really want to cover that one because that one's cool as shit. But enough about that. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the Magic World deck. So we got the flag, same kind of starter as the other two. I actually like the Magic World ride line probably better than all the rest because you actually have something that goes off turn 2 with turn 3. When this one is rode upon by Dance Contest Victor Tetsuya, which is the grade 2, you choose either one order or a 72 Pillars card without Sentinel, reveal it, add it to hand. The grade 2, when this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 with Tetsu unit's card name, with the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 72 Pillars without Sentinel from among them, reveal them, choose one of the revealed cards, put it into your hand, discard the rest of the revealed cards, and shuffle the deck. That one feels very Buff Saga. It feels a lot like Divstia, but actually a really solid ride line. Now, as far as our actual grade 3, wants the whole world join the craze, Tetsuya Kurodaki. I think I said that right, or Kurodaki. So, he's weird. So he is a lot like the Katana World grade 3, where they don't gain any inherent power. So it feels like a lot of the pressure for this deck is on the Rearguard. So what he does is continuous Vanguard each turn. You can play 2 orders, and you cannot play an order with the same name as an order played this turn. That's kind of cool, little gimmicky, but it does open up some avenues for us. Auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard, choose up to one of either a normal order or a set order from your drop, putting it into your hand. That's cool because every time you Persona Ride, you're also going to get the draw for Persona Ride, and then you're going to get to end an order from drop back to hand. So that's cool. Basically a +2 every time you get to ride. And then his main effect is a great spell, Saturday Night Devil Fever. Auto Vanguard, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1 to choose up to 1 grade 1 or less 72 Pillars without Sentinel from your drop, call it to Rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this cost can be paid with Counterblast 1 and put 2 72 Pillars without Sentinel from your drop to the bottom of your deck. And if you do, you choose 2 instead of 1 and call them to Rearguard. Now, on paper, that sounds fantastic because you swing with this guy, Counterblast 1, you get it to call out a new unit, you get 4 attacks. Your opponent's at grade 3, you get to call out 2, you now have 5 attacks. But the way the deck actually plays, it does get 5 attacks, but in a very, very weird way. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the triggers have not been put into Vanguard Pro, so we're going to skip those for now. We do have these 2, but they're bad. I'll talk about them real quick, but we'll talk about the rest of the triggers because they have been announced. They just haven't been put into Vanguard Pro. So first up, we got the Key of Solomon first volume. It's in one of the order triggers, so it can be guarded with as a regular trigger, but its second effect is when you play as an order, you could put 2 cards from your deck face down as gauges. We might actually have to play this because this deck needs a pretty hefty amount of gauge. It doesn't have a whole lot of gauge generation. This card is trash. You play this if you played Key of Solomon first volume this turn. It's a counter charge. It's a draw trigger that becomes a counter charge, but only if you used the front trigger as its order effect. The reason that sucks so bad is because you're allowed 2 orders per turn, so you basically have to play both of these. So you can't do anything else as far as any other combo plays at all. So it's just really, really restrictive. Now, let's jump into the rest of the sport. So first up, we got Art of Body Duplication Asmodai. Act Rearguard, retire this unit, choose a card with Asmodai in its different card name from this card with grave less than equal to your Vanguard from your drop, call it to Rearguard. Basically trades itself for any of the other Asmodai. Any of them. There's a lot. That's why that's actually good. It sounds kind of silly because you could just be running more copies of other Asmodai, but basically it allows you to adapt to different situations because you have different Asmodai for different things. We'll do the orders after. So we got Demon Lord Asmodai. When this unit is placed on Rearguard, Counterblast 1 and perform one of the following. This deck is pretty counterblast heavy, so we have to be careful with this guy because we're going to be counterblasting usually 2 per turn. You'll see why when we start talking about it. And the deck has, the only counter charge the deck really has right now is your Buddy Call, so you need to be careful. So what this does is you counterblast 1 when it's called. You choose one of your opponent's rearguard circles and retire all rearguards on that circle. So it's a retire that doesn't target the rearguard, so it dodges things like this unit cannot be chosen. And then the second effect is you can search your deck for up to 172 pillows, order a card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So you can either retire or add the order. And then its third effect, because this thing has like 3 effects. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Tetsuya in its card name, this unit gets 5,000 power until end of battle. Then, if your rearguard has second Omni Lord Asmodai, it gets 10,000 instead of 5,000. That card is the grade 3 rearguard. We'll talk about that near the end, because that card's hyper important. Now we have another Asmodai. It's called Let's Play Asmodai. I like this one a lot. When this unit is placed on rearguard, choose up to 1 card with Asmodai and its card name from your drop. Put it face down as a gauge. When this unit intercepts, if you have a Vanguard with Tetsuya in its card name, this unit gets 5,000 shield until end of battle. How does a grade 1 intercept? Again, we'll get to that near the end. This is our PG. This is probably the best looking PG out of all of them. This thing looks crazy. And I want to say that's it for grade 1 rearguard. Oh no, I lied. We still have 2 more grade 1 rearguards. So these are still 72 pillars. They just don't have Asmodai in the name. They're basically pure support cards. This one, when this unit is placed on rearguard, you may put the top card of your deck face down as a gauge. If you did, at the end of the turn, put this unit into the drop just to get more gauge, which we need. Then this one, but with this one, when this is played on rearguard, you pay 1 gauge, you search your deck for up to 1 set order, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. This card is actually hyper important because of the set order we need it for. The only downside of this card is it's only from deck. It's not from deck or drop or damage, which I think it should have been considering it cost a gauge, and this deck has probably the least amount of gauge generation out of all of the Buddyfight decks that I've played so far. But again, we'll talk about that once we get to the orders. But that's basically part of the win con, that card right there. We don't have a whole lot of Asmodai grade 2s. We got this one, Dance Asmodai. You have to pay 1 gauge to call it, and when it's placed, you just draw a card. Really good for the early game, okay-ish for the late game. I just wish it gained a little more power, but yeah, that's the only grade 2 Asmodai rearguard. Now, the grade 3 Asmodai. And we gotta talk about second Omni Demon Lord Asmodai. This card is both bonkers good and really fucking bad. Excuse my language, it's really bad. All right, call cost. You have to pay 2 gauge just to call it. You cannot call units with the same name as this card, and if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Tetsuya in its card name, this unit gets 10,000 power active during your opponent's turn. So it gets 10,000 power on both players' turns. It does not require your opponent to be at grade 3, it just requires you to be on a grade 3 Tetsuya. So it's always at 23. Sounds good, right? When this unit leaves the rear guard, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. If this thing is ever removed for any reason, you just take a damage. And there's nothing you can do. This can kill you. If you're at 5 and this thing gets killed, you take a damage, you die. It's frustrating. It doesn't even have Soul Guard. But it does have, during your opponent's turn, when this unit would leave the rear guard, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, leave this unit on the rear guard. So you can keep this on the rear guard to prevent yourself from taking damage, but you have to discard a card every single time you do it. Imagine playing against a 5 attack deck, and 3 of the attacks are on this guy where they force discard your cards. Like, it's silly. He does have a few good things about it. He has the passive 10k that we talked about, but he also has double attack, which is auto rear guard once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is stand, kind of bless one stand this unit. By the way, if in my Katana World video, I fucked that up because Gojin Maro is the same way. It only restands if your Vanguard's still restanding, so you have to swing with it before the Vanguard. That was my fault, you guys. It still works really well with the red OT. Anyway, last effect. At the end of the battle, that this unit is attacked by a rear guard, retire the unit that attacked this unit. That effect is good. Basically, if they want to try and swing at him with rear guards, first off, they gotta get over 23. But anytime they attack with a rear guard, he automatically kills the rear guard. So it helps with preventing, restands to keep on punching into him. So it's okay. If you notice my build real quick, I'll show you a quick flash. He is not in it. We still play him, but he is not in the main deck. We'll talk about that again when we get to the actual deck build. Now we're gonna blitz through the orders real quick because there are a few. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Nice one. You pay us 1 gauge, you draw 2 cards. I want to play this. I have not put this in the deck yet. I really think I should because a +1 like that can be solid. Though I am a little worried about it costing a gauge because, like I said, we don't have a whole lot of gauge generation. Devil Advantage, play this with 1 gauge. Choose 2 72 pillar normal units with the same name from your drop. If you chose to, put them into your hand. I wanted to like this card, but it's also kind of not good. It costs a gauge. You get 2 dudes from drop, so you already have to have 2 dudes in drop, and they have to have the same name. So it's a +1 that costs a lot of setup. That's why, like, if I want to run this, I would just run fucking nice one. Solomon's Shield. This is our PG order, which I don't even think I put that in. Yeah, I put a Sanctitude out of habit, so we're just gonna throw that in real quick, just to stay on brand. This is our Impact order. This one we are not playing. It is the worst one out of all the ones we've seen so far. You cannot play this card, and you cannot use this ability if you have not. If you can only use this ability if you haven't resolved one of these this game. Hand at the end of your turn, if your opponent has 4 or less damage in their damage zone and you have 3 or more pillar rear guards, you could discard this card, pay 3 gauge, declare final phase, and you choose one of your opponent's Vanguard and you deal it a damage. I know that sounds cool. You can deal your opponent a damage, but you can only deal them a damage if they're at 4 or less. So you can't kill them with it. You're giving them a counterblast to work with, and you can only do it if you have at least 3 72 pillars rear guards. It's too much setup. It costs 3 gauge. And all it does is deal a damage. It does nothing else. It's just we're better off playing, you know, actual combo pieces. And lastly, we got Mind of Hardcore for the grade 1s. You pay this if you play this if you have 2 or more 72 pillar rear guards. You choose up to 3 72 pillar rear guards from your drop and you put them face down as gauge. This is fire. The only thing that's weird about this one is that it's a set order. So I mean it's searchable by the grade 1, but I was asking this, and it doesn't say that it's an act ability or anything. I'm assuming you only get to do this effect once on place. I'm just surprised they made it a set order with that kind of effect. I was wondering if you could do this every turn, like as long as you could pay the cost skin to do it. I don't know. Somebody let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just coping and hoping for something crazy. We do have a set of grade 2 order. Great spell, Devil's Rock and Roll. You pay this with 2 gauge. This costs a lot, but you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You choose up to 2 72 pillar cards without Sentinel from among them, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Yeah, this digs through the deck to get you 2 dudes. The only reason I want to play this over the grade 1 nice one is because sometimes you need to see those rear guards, and being able to check top 5 to add 2 can be better than just drawing 2 cards, because you can easily just draw into 2 triggers. And then we have the grade 3 order. All right, this is the win con of the deck, is the grade 3 set order, and this is what we need the grade 1 for. So Noisy Dance Room. First off, there's no cost to play it. You don't have to use any gauge, you don't have to counterblast, nothing. Continuous Order Zone. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Tetsuya in your card name, all your front row 72 pillar rear guards get intercept and power plus 5,000, also active on your opponent's turn. So the more copies you have of this, the bigger your front row is going to get. It has this other skill that we don't really need that much, but it's act Order Zone once per turn. You pay 1 gauge, choose a 72 pillows on your rear guard, return it to hand. So any on-call skills you want to reuse, you can, though I don't think I've ever used that effect. The big one is the first part where you get 5,000 power to your front row rear guards, and they gain intercept, even though most of the time you're going to be using grade 1s. And the more copies of this you get, the bigger they're going to get. The reason you want to use this grade 1 is because this grade 1 immediately puts them right into play, because normally you can only play 1 of these per turn. Even with the Vanguard letting you play 2 orders, you can't play the same name. So yeah. Now, cards that have not been put into Vanguard Pro real quick. As you guys can see from my trigger lineup, we don't have Magic World triggers yet, though they have been released. We have the critical trigger Trio. And its order ability is you play this with a counterblast 1, you choose a card without Sentinel from your drop, and you call it to Rearguard. That's actually really fucking good. I just wish it wasn't a counterblast. Then we have another Magic World critical trigger called Blasting Caps. Its order ability is you pay 2 gauge, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards and retire it. That one's a little overcosted, especially since you have to give up a trigger to do it and 2 gauge to do it. And then lastly, we got the heal trigger. The heal trigger's been announced. So the heal trigger is called Chillax. It's continuous. During the guard step has a 15k guard like all the other triggers. When this card is put onto the Guardian Circle, cost pay 1 gauge, and you get, when your unit is attacked, that turn, it gets 5,000 power till end of battle, and you lose that ability. So basically, it attaches an ability to the player that the next time one of your units gets attacked, you can give it 5,000 power, making it easier to defend. So that's kind of nice. It's a 5k shield with a passive extra 5k later in the turn. But it does cost 1 gauge. So, gotta take the good with the bad. But now, let's jump into the deck build, and then we're gonna go jump into a game real quick. So, deck build, we obviously have our ride line, we have our persona rides. I'm playing 4 Dance Asmodai. We need Rearguards with Asmodai in the name. This is the only grade 2 Asmodai we have, and it's early game draw power, which we like. We're playing 4 copies of Art of Body Duplication Asmodai. Again, we need Asmodai Rearguards, and this one can turn into any of the other Asmodais. That's why we wanted to play him. The good thing about one of the good things about this deck is almost none of the Rearguards require you to pay any gauge. They only require you to use gauge for the effects. So it's not like with the Gao deck where almost every Rearguard you need gauge to play them. We're playing 3 copies of Demon Lord Asmodai. Again, we need Asmodai names. The only downside to this one is that it costs a counterblast for its effect, but it's also our biggest beater, being that it jumps to 18 when you have the grade 3 on the board. The grade 3 Rearguard. We're playing 4 copies of Let's Play Asmodai because it gives you gauge, and it's a defensive card when it's in the front row. We're playing 2 copies of Demon Dr. Burr, again, gauge generation. We're playing 3 Gamagins, again, to get into our set orders. Playing 1 copy of Fire Regalis, doesn't count as our order per turn, so with this we can technically play 3 orders in a turn, and we can help build the board. We have our PGs, and then of course we have Mind of Hardcore, which gives us 3 extra gauge. Triggers, again, the Magic World triggers aren't in Vanguard Pro yet, besides the really, really bad ones. So we went with extra 5k because we're not using soul, so we don't really need soul triggers. Normal crits. These crits I still like because they let you give something soul guard that doesn't have soul guard, which could come in handy, especially since none of the cards in this deck have soul guard, and then of course basic heals. So here's the deck. I'm gonna take it, go jump into a game, and I'll show you guys how it plays. Alright guys, we got a game and we're going first. I'm gonna keep the grade 2, I'm gonna keep the grade 3 for Persona. Actually, I think I'm just gonna send the trigger back. Alright, so we're gonna discard. I actually think we're gonna discard Asmodai here. Drop and ride. Now, picking our buddy actually really matters here, because there's only one real option for the Magic World deck. Where he at? It's going to be, because you don't have to have him in the main deck. You only need 1 copy, because remember, you can't call another copy once it's on the board, and you want to keep it on the board, because otherwise you take a fucking damage. Is our grade 3. So he's going to be our buddy. And then we're going to use skill to charge and draw. We're going to put the order, because remember, we can get the order back from the drop later. And then that's our turn. So when we first read the grade 3, the main grade 3 Tessia, it's a counterblast 1 to get an extra attack because it calls out a grade 1. And then if your opponent's at grade 3, you can call out 2 dudes. Well, when you get the grade 3 out, he can also stand himself. So you can get 5 attacks without having to call 2 units. That's the trick to it. He's a huge ass beatstick that stands himself. So you still get 5 attacks, and then you can call it a column if you want to. So now we're gonna go skill to charge and draw, but the question is, what do we want to put in? I think for this, we're gonna put in this guy to draw, and then we have to discard for ride. I think we discard Burr. All right, and now we use the grade 1 skill. We check top 5 for either an order or a pillar. So let's get, I guess we can get Burr. Yeah, we're gonna add him back since we got rid of him. And then shuffle. Now we go to main phase. We're gonna start off by playing Dance Asmodai skill. We pay 1 gauge. We'll play the order so we can get it back to draw a card. And then we're gonna call Gamagin. Then we'll use his skill to pay 1 gauge to search for a set order and add to hand. We'll get our set order back. Though I could have also played the grade 1 set order and gained 3 gauge, but I guess we don't really super need it right now. Battle phase. Swing. Swing Vanguard. Front trigger. Nice. And then swing 20k. Alright. Not a bad turn, not a bad turn. Checking for a grade 3. Alright, is this gonna hurt? No, we'll take this. 1 damage. We only really need 2 damage to be able to do our thing, so we're gonna guard with this. Alright, let's do things. So first off, we gotta charge and draw. You have to make sure you charge and draw with this deck because this deck hyper needs its gauge. So we're gonna put Noisy Dancer back in. We're gonna draw. That's a Sentinel. And then we're gonna discard to ride. We actually want this grade 1, so we're gonna go drop and ride. And now our grade 2 skill. Check top 7 for 2 pillars. 1 goes to hand, 1 goes to drop. So we have 2 pillars. I think I'm gonna add this to hand, and we'll put this guy in the drop just in case we need him. All right, and then we're gonna shuffle. Now we want to use a counter blast because we're gonna do our buddy call. So we're gonna move this back. We're gonna call this version of Asmodai, and then we're gonna go skill, counter blast 1. I can retire anything, right? I want to say we retire you. Yeah. Oh. And I gotta add an order back to him. Because of him. It's on ride. That's important. I can't forget that. But now we're going to do our buddy call. So now we're going to go this to play him and to counter charge 1. But we have to pay 2 gauges. So we're going to put this in the drop and that in the drop. Now we can play 2 orders this turn. Forgot to go to main phase. So we're going to play Noisy Dance Room, which is going to give our front row 5k. And he's going to gain 15k because he gains 10k by himself. Now, we have Persona Rods. We can get another Noisy Dance Room. So we can play this, but do we want to get a Noisy Dance Room? I don't think we need any more gauge for this turn. I'm just thinking of like what I want to do next. Because whatever we call is going to have an on-call effect. Because we're going to call one of the grade 1s. I think it has to be any grade 1 72 pillars. So if we want to, we can retire another Rearguard. We do have the, well, no, because we're going to use both our counter blasts. Sorry, I'm just playing through what I can do this turn. Like I can get a gauge if I need it, or I can get my order. I kind of want to get my order. So we're going to go play, skill, pop 1. And I think we're actually going to grab this. I obviously have more than 2 72 pillar rear guards, and now we can play this order too. And now we can choose 3 72 pillars and put them face down as gauges. So we'll go. We'll just add them to hand first because this program stinks. And all right. So then we'll go. Bang. Now this program doesn't stink. He just doesn't have a mechanic to go straight from there, from drop to gauge. All right. Now we got to do this right. So we're going to go 15. Okay. He played twin cast. Now we're going to go 36. Now his skill goes off because our Vanguard is stood. Counter blast 1, restand. Now we're going to swing Vanguard. Vanguard skill, counter blast 1, we call a grade 1. I'm gonna call this one. And now he's got the 5k because we have the order, but then he's also going to gain 10k. He would gain 5k when he attacks, but he's going to gain 10k because we have the grade 3 rearguard on our board. So we get 5 attacks with our opponent at grade 2. So he's guarding 1 to pass. All right, twin drive. First check, critical trigger, cool, all the Vanguard. Second check, heal trigger too. This is gonna be 31, so we'll give it over here. He does heal. He does heal. Thankfully, both of our attacks are still gonna be over 30, so he still has to guard them. So 31. Any deck that can get 5 attacks with your opponent at grade 2 is disgusting. Okay, so you use both uses of twin cast, and now 38. That's an OT. All right. And that's basically what the deck does. Now, next turn, we're going to play another copy of Noisy Dance Room, and now our front one's going to have plus 10k on top of Persona Ride. You trying to retire? Skill will discard a card to keep it. Now the cool thing is, if he tries to attack it with any rear guards, it's just the rear guard just gonna get retired. And then if he attacks it with the Vanguard, then I could just discard a card to keep it. I would have to discard on the rear guard attacks too, but he would be losing his rear guards as well. So it's like, cool, you're turning all these big attacks into basically 1 card guards. All right, remind me what this does again. It gains a bunch of power. When this unit stands by the, it gets a critical. Okay, that's a problem. All right, Virgila. 31. 31 to my Vanguard. This is 33. Wait, what the fuck? Choose one of your units and it cannot be hit until then. Choose a normal order from your drop, put it into your hand, and remove this card. I didn't know it did that. That's awesome. All right, I can intercept with this. I think we're gonna take that. We're only at 3 damage. We can still take the Vanguard. We have the PG for the rear guard, and we still have a decent amount of shield. I didn't realize this gets me an order back too. It gets me a normal order specifically, not a set order. We can guard 43. As long as he doesn't get a, because if he gets a critical, well, we could take one of them. So we'll go 43. That's 2 to pass. That's a draw trigger. That's nothing. Oh, I forgot to get triple drive. All right. Well, I'll take the damage here. I'm going to 5 here to block my opponent's heal triggers next turn. All right, he drew a bunch of cards, but we do have 5 major attacks coming. All right. So now we're going to Persona Ride. And we get a charge and draw. I got to remember, you have to charge and draw first. I always forget that. It always throws me off with this deck, with all the Buddyfight decks. All right, so now we're gonna go, and then his skill, we get to get an order back. So we're gonna grab our set order back. And now we're gonna go to main phase. And we're gonna play our set order. So now our front row is going to gain 10k. And he's going to gain 20k. And then we're actually going to use the other skill to pay a gauge and return this to hand to then play it again. And then skill, pay 1 gauge, and we'll get another set order. Just in case we need it. And a deck thin a little bit. Matter of fact, we could do that again because we have the gauge for it, if I really wanted to. But that might be getting greedy. Is it though? Because we're kind of going for game. So we'll use the second one now. So pay a gauge, return to hand, play again, skill, pay a gauge, search the deck, grab the last one, and shuffle. Now, we'll go to battle phase, and actually, he gets 10k when he attacks. Because I have the grade 3. So we're gonna go 38 to Vanguard. And I forgot this guy, I actually didn't have to guard him last time. Well, no, because he tried to bind him, that's what it was. So that's 43 in shield, okay. Now we're gonna go... I kind of want to swing just the 43. Alright, skill, counter blast 1, stand. And then we're gonna go swing, skill, counter blast 1. I guess I technically could have called multiple copies, but I didn't think about it. But let's call him no, because we're out of gauge. We're out of gauge. Let's call this, just in case we don't kill them. I kind of nerfed myself a little bit with the way I did that. That's on me. So that's 28, 43, 2 to pass, twin drive, first check, second check. Well, now we're gonna go 36, which means he probably has a PG. Does he have 2 PGs? Because that'd be unfortunate. He did. He did. All right. Can we live through this? So what I should have done there, sorry, I had to get up to close the door. What I should have done there was I should have, he also should have got rid of my grade 1 there because it's a 10k interceptor. But what I should have done there was, sorry, brain fart. I should have swung with the column and then used his second skill to basically call out a new column as opposed to swinging with just the front row, because I have plenty of rear guards to send back to deck. That was on me. And then I could have I also should have paid attention to what was in my drop, because I could have set up to get another copy of this grade 1, because he's our other mean beat stick. I could have just had a lot more power, but I fucked it up a turn. I don't know if we're gonna survive 5 attacks again. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. All right, 36. They're gonna go 28, and then we're going to intercept and skill against 5k shield. 53 is crazy. We're gonna have to perfect guard that. Discarding the order, and then skill the PG. We're gonna get a normal order back to hand. Do we even have any normal orders in here right now? We do not. Uh-oh. That would have been nice fodder, but oops. All right, we're gonna have to go 1 to pass. Damn. Oof, and a critical. Alrighty, GG. Alright guys, here's one more look at the deck. As you can see, the ratios can definitely be tweaked a little bit. I could try some of the other orders to gain a little bit more advantage. This was like legit my first complete draft where I actually figured out how the deck worked. Because the first game I played with the deck, I thought this thing was horrendous. I was bitching about it the entire stream when we played it. But now you see it's consistent 5 attacks. It's got a ridiculously strong beat stick with the grade 3. And as long as you call in the proper way, unlike your boy did, my bad, you can get some serious numbers and some serious offense. But let me know what you guys think of the Magic World deck. Is it what you were hoping for? And let me know how you guys feel about the other decks. I finished the Katana World deck. I really like that. That one's still probably my favorite because the more knowledge you have, the better it is. The Gao deck and the Tatsuya, it's Tatsuya, right? Or the Jackknife deck. Those are both feel like pretty standard Vanguard decks with some extra protection on the rear guards. I'm really interested in the 100 Demons because the way it stacks all the effects together onto one dude and makes that dude a goddamn gorilla just seems really cool to me. But keep an eye on the channel, guys, for the next video that we're going to put out. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links down below. If you guys want to see me play some Cardfight Vanguard live, come by the next live stream. So the next stream is going to be next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the 16th. So come by. We're going to try out the 100 Demons and whatever other new cool stuff we can get our hands on. That's going to be it from me, guys. I'll check you guys out on the next video. Later.
See it in my eyes, I was born for this. I got demons on my side, you and I like this. I got reason to believe, I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world and it go like this.